Hello, boys and girls. It is Fido Day 38, Thursday, May 14th. Today we're going to complete a review, which is actually a Check My Progress, which is on book page 947. And we're going to do this today together. And there's no submission. You do not have to take a picture of this. So if you want to open your book up to page 947, you can pause the video to do that. And we're going to look at the vocab check. Now, you're going to see that I already answered a few of these because we skipped a few lessons on prisms and pyramids. And but we're going to learn about one type of prism later on in this chapter. Okay, so I'm not really concerned about you knowing these vocabulary terms at this time, but it is coming, okay? So number one, the correct answer is a rectangular prism. And just listen to what it is. And like I said, we're going to hear about rectangular prisms later on in the chapter. A rectangular prism is a three-dimensional figure. It's a 3D figure that has 6 rectangular faces. That means like the actual face of them is a rectangle, and 8 vertices. Vertices are like the corners, if you counted the corners of it. If you know how to draw a cube, then you know how to draw a rectangular prism, because cubes are made out of square faces, but squares are also rectangles. So if you know how to do that, you know how to do a rectangular prism. Number 2, we are going to answer together. A blank is a parallelogram with all sides congruent. All of the sides are equal. Are all of the sides equal in a rectangle? They're not. They can be, but they don't have to be. How about in a rhombus? In a rhombus, they have to be equal. So we are going to circle a rhombus is a parallelogram where all of the sides are congruent. Number 3, I answered for you. A blank, an edge of a three-dimensional figure is where 2 faces meet. It looks like a line. If you're drawing a cube, remember we talked about it would be a rectangular prism, right? That's how I always draw cubes, okay? All of the faces are rectangles. There's 8 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This line, see this line? That's where the front and the bottom meet. It is an edge. This line, that's where this side and the front meet. Here is where the top and the front meet. Here is where this side, the left side and the front meet. So you see how all of these lines that I drew, line segments, those are also known as edges in a three-dimensional figure, like a cube. A blank has at least 3 faces that are rectangles, and that would be a prism. A prism has at least 3 faces. This one, like they said, has 6. Top, bottom, that's 1, 2, right, left, 3, 4, front, back, 5, 6. So that's just a little quick little lesson about prisms, but we're going to learn more about that later on in the chapter. Let's take a look at number 5. Describe the attributes of each quadrilateral, then classify the quadrilateral. Well, let's classify it first. Number 5 is a straight up parallelogram. And if you need to look back, you're going to find a couple things that are true about parallelograms. The opposite sides are 2 things. They're parallel. So the top and the bottom are parallel. The right and the left are parallel. And congruent. The top and the bottom are equal length. The right and the left are equal length. Take a look at number 6. Does this look like any of the ones that we had talked about yesterday? Let me flip back. Does it look like any of these? Does it look like a trapezoid? I don't see any parallel lines. Does it look like a parallelogram? If I don't see any parallel lines, I definitely don't think that there's if I don't see one set of parallel lines, there's definitely not two sets of parallel lines. Does it have four sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. It does. So it's definitely a quadrilateral. But boys and girls, there's really nothing more that makes it special. So we could just say there's four sides and four angles. This one's just one of those general quadrilaterals. Nothing real special about it. I don't mean to hurt its feelings, but in this case, there's just nothing that's special. Let's look at number 7. Circle the quadrilaterals that have all the attributes of a rhombus. Well, let's go back up here. Remember, a rhombus is a parallelogram with all sides congruent. So which ones have all the sides congruent all of the time? Does a rectangle have all of the sides congruent all of the time? No. How about a parallelogram? Always has all four sides equal? No. Because this is an example of one that all four sides are not equal. How about a square? A parallelogram, all of the sides are always equal, all four? Yeah. How about a trapezoid? No. All four sides do not have to be equal in order for a figure to be a trapezoid, a parallelogram, or a rectangle. But if it wants to be a rhombus, all four sides have to be equal. If it wants to be a square, all four sides have to be equal. Let's look at number 8. Circle the quadrilaterals that have all the attributes of a rectangle. Let's go back and review what makes something a rectangle. I went too far. I'm on page 929, rectangle. It has to be a parallelogram, meaning the top and the bottom are parallel and congruent. The right and the left are parallel and congruent. But it also has to have four right angles. So which other figures are a parallelogram with four right angles? Let's start down here. A rhombus. A rhombus is a parallelogram. Does it have to have four right angles? No. A trapezoid. A trapezoid is not even a parallelogram. So it couldn't be a rectangle. A square. Is a square a parallelogram? Does a square have four right angles? Yes, it does. And how about a parallelogram? A parallelogram is a parallelogram, obviously. But does it always have four right angles? Look at this example. Obtuse angle, acute angle, acute angle. None of these are right angles, but it's still a parallelogram. So again, the only thing that is exactly the same as a rectangle, has the same attributes, is the square. A square is a rhombus, a square is a rectangle. I've told you that a couple times now. That's all we had to do for today, boys and girls. That's it. Just the page 947. There is no submission of work today. I miss you all very much. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. Take care. Listen to your parents. Keep working really hard. I'm very proud of you. Bye, guys.